Hello everyone, we are back with another brand new GitLab series videos. So today's video is going to be pretty interesting, I promise you, and is going to be pretty much no coding video. So in today's video, we are going to talk about GitLab workflow extension for VS Code. I actually use it very often, or pretty much every day I would say, when I work with Gitlab. Gitlab workflow extension integrates Gitlab with VS Code, so we can decrease context switching and do more day-to-day tasks in Visual Studio Code. For example, view issues, to create and review merge request, to create snippet, to validate our CI/CD configuration, like basically CI linting. We can also browse repositories without cloning them. We can also see the pipeline status. We can also retry the failed or past jobs. So in today's lesson, I'm going to show you how to install the plugin, how to configure the plugin. When I refer to plugin, I actually refer to extension. Okay, if you like this content, give it a thumbs up, show me some support. And without further ado, let's get started. So let's get started. So this is my project, GitLab tutorial project, and I'm currently on master branch. And this project is not public as far as I remember, because this code is not necessarily needed to be shared with everyone else. So I'm going to write this stuff in readme.md. And okay, before we do the actual work, let's create a separate branch. So we call it GitLab workflow branch. Alright, let's go ahead with the installation. So in the gear icon, you see the gear icon manage, click right there. And you're gonna see extensions. So there is also a shortcut, but I just wanted to show you from the UI. So then type in GitLab workflow, and the one you see, GitLab workflow, publisher as GitLab, is the official GitLab maintained extension for Visual Studio Code. I have already installed the extension on my VS Code, which is why you see that disable or uninstall. So I'm not going to disable neither uninstall my plugin or extension. And right here down there you can see feature contribution, details, changelog, dependencies, runtime status, all those stuffs. It also comes with all the links that you need basically to learn more about this plugin in terms of marketplace, repository, license, GitLab, pretty much everything, right? And also this is the another place from this sidebar. If you click right there and search GitLab workflow, you are going to find the same result. So there are multiple ways of doing it. And for example, if I didn't install, I would have seen install, right? Once you install, you do not need to reload or you do not need to restart your computer, neither the VS Code editor itself. Let's go ahead with the setup. Setup is pretty simple. We have left side menu bar, right? And right there, if you right click, you will see a list of options here that you see as an icon. So I can see GitLab workflow is on my left side menu bar, right? So if you want to, let's say, see something on the left sidebar, you can just check. If you do not want, you uncheck. So that's how you can bring your icons on the left hand side menu bar. So let's bring back GitLab workflow. So then the icon appears in there, and right here you can see I have got one project, GitLab tutorial, and I'm gonna right click and manually do the configuration. Okay, so let's click on that, and once we click in here, now it's doing some discovery, right? So it says select your GitLab project, but before we come here, we need to create a personal access token. We are going to go ahead with our profile and from there access token, and I have got access token already, but to be honest, I don't remember my token. I don't think I have saved anywhere. So give it a name, whatever name you want, and select only API. That's more than enough. And once you create, remember, if you reload the page, the token is gonna go away, right? Make sure that you save it. Add account, and when you want to add an account, paste the token that you have just copied from gitlab.com. And once you have actually successfully authenticated, you're gonna see all the merge issues, related information right here within the editor. Personal access token, in short we call it PAT. This token is gone after you reload the page. So if you want to configure environment variables for it, you could also do it, or you could just copy and paste it somewhere like in KeePass. But anyway, I'm going to export token as GitLab workflow underscore path. This is the name I'm going to give it to. You can call it anything you want. And for the GitLab instance, I'm actually using gitlab.com, the SaaS product, right? So there is something I did not show you after I install the plugin or the extension. So now it's good to know the differences, or the, let's say, not the differences, rather the restrictions on visibility. For example, after we install the plugin, we are not authenticated to gitlab.com, right? Or you removed instances. So now if you look at here, actually I'm authenticated, and if I search by GitLab, you can see I see all the options available. So now if you search by GitLab, you will see literally everything that is embedded part of this extension. So this is something you're gonna see after you successfully make the authentication with your remote GitLab instance. And here I can see also gitlab.com is my remote endpoint and my username, right? Excellent. So let's say I now removed my account, and this time I am not authenticated to the remote account, right? So if you now search, you do not see all the options. The options are literally gone, right? You do not see merge request options. They are completely gone. Snippet and a lot other, right? You cannot really see them because my project is private, just to let you know. So it means that without the authentication, I would not be able to see everything within the editor. Okay, so if you see show extension log, you're gonna see extension related logs, and then let's say my GitLab endpoint, I authenticate again, and this time if I come back and I try to look at all the available features bundled within the extension, I can see all of them here, right here, right? So this is just to let you know, before you authenticate, you would not see all the options because they cannot be actually viewed without authentication. So this is something is good to know. Alright, some bonus walkthrough. Let's say you have authenticated, your account is added, and what happens if you want to authenticate again? So let's say I'm going to click on allow, right? So you can directly access, or you can copy and paste it onto your browser. So now you can see something interesting. So this time it's saying that, hey, you have already added your account. You cannot add your account again until you remove your account, and which means that you need to remove and add your account again. So if you have added your account already, this is what you're gonna see. Nothing to get panicked, nothing to worry. It means that your authentication is set up already without any issues. If we install the extension, it makes our life really easy. How? You do not have to ever remember any keyword. For example, extends, before a script, after a script, trigger, all the keywords that comes with GitLab, right? You do not have to ever remember them. One of the biggest advantages is that the predefined variables, you do not have to ever remember them. So if you see, I just typed in $sign and the CI underscore, and it suggests me all the matches, right? CI underscore and all the variables that actually matches or the starts with $_CI. And if you see down there, it gives you the description as well. Let's say the commit branch name available in branch pipeline. So this is the exact syntax for this particular predefined variable you're gonna see also in the documentation. So this is directly hooked up with the documentation. So now let's take a look. We have got merge request options. So I have got like a few, I would say 7+ merge requests opened, and you can see all of them. I can see here all project merge requests, meaning that for these particular projects I can see all the merge requests opened and also the issues. Let's say issues created by me, meaning that I created this particular issue. You can see also my username, assigned to whom, and also the timeline for it, like 31 minutes before. As you can see, exactly the same like what I have within the editor. Okay, so let's say if I wanted to write a comment, this is something I just wanted to show, that if you comment here and you go back to the browser, you're gonna see the comment right under that particular issue discussion. Okay, so now I have written, hey, this is a dummy issue, and if I come back here and jump into the discussion, right, this is where I can see the comment is already available within the UI as well. Isn't it cool? This is really good. You do not have to, let's say, come back to the browser. If you work with editor a lot, you can do most of the work already within the editor. And now let's say if I'm going to write a dummy reply, am I going to see it right away from here? Let's hit the refresh button. And once you hit the refresh button, doesn't look like this is actually updating it. So what I needed to do, I needed to close this and come back to this one again. So I'm gonna close first, and then let's open this dummy issue again, and now I can see the reply. So the refreshing part doesn't look like working. I don't know if there are some open issues about those things. I have not checked the upstream repositories myself, but it looks like at the time of recording this video it did not really work. So let's get back to the merge request assigned to me. I do not see an overview. There is also a link open in Gitlab. Let's say if you want to open this in a browser, you could also open. Try didn't, and I'm going to write some dummy description because there was literally no description. This was just the title of that merge request. So I'm going to write something dummy. Do not care about the text that I'm writing. So a dummy message and save changes. So if you go back to your editor now, you can see now I've got the line right there. So now I'm going to refresh the merge request assigned to me. So now we need to hit the refresh, and let's see after we update the page or refresh the page if we see the content. Actually not. So we needed to really close the file and then open it up again. So on the right hand side is the incoming changes. So the one in green. To the right hand side is the changes coming, basically the new changes that you have merge requested for this particular file, right? So you can go line by line, and if you see any changes that doesn't look good to you, you can go ahead and comment. So now let us review some code. We have merge request, but we did not really start any discussion. Okay, let's jump into merge request number 16. So if you comment, you can also delete, or you can edit the content that you have written, right? So in my case, my comment is do not need schedule. What do you think? This is just a dummy comment. I just wanted to show you. And let's say when you start a discussion in any MR, then there will be like, let's say, resolve some thread, right? So meaning that someone need to resolve before you merge this particular MR. So you can resolve and unresolve right from within the editor, and this feature is really cool. To me, it's like an excellent feature. Let us play with the pipeline. So first of all, let's go to merge request. I have got 7 of them at this point. So going to click on this one and click on pipelines. And what I'm about to do is to trigger a new pipeline. So I'm going to show you something right here. If you see for current branch, there should be pipeline related information. And for this particular branch, Gitlab workflow, at this point you see there is nothing. I do not see any pipeline information. Okay, this pipeline failed. So what was the reason? Okay, my Docker is not running. So I'm going to start Docker daemon because I have the Docker executor for the Gitlab runner. If you didn't see my previous videos how to configure Gitlab runner, please go back to my videos if you want to deep dive a bit further. Okay, let's wait for Docker daemon to be up and running. Alright, should not take more than like 20 seconds, but yeah. So it seems like Docker is working. It's up and running. Okay, so you can see the pipeline is triggered. Now you still don't see nothing. So if you have noticed, I'm actually triggering the pipeline from a different branch. Look at the branch name, testing ref something, and then I have got Gitlab workflow. So I need to switch to that particular branch where I triggered the pipeline. If you are on a different branch, you would not see that for that particular branch any pipeline status. Now, the moment we have changed the branch, we can see our pipeline is passed. And there is also link view in Gitlab. If you click in there, it's gonna straight take you to gitlab.com. And here you can see exact console output, right? Job succeeded and step by step what has happened in this particular job. So if you go to pipelines again and click on this test job, and if you read the console log, you're gonna see the same thing. So this is where you get log. You do not need to go to the browser, rather you can see the console log right here. And you can also rerun this particular job again if you want to, right? Or you can also retry a failed job. That's also possible. So this has started, right? I tried to rerun the job and my job is started, and you can see everything looks good. So pipeline features can be accessible from the status bar by clicking the pipeline status text or command palette, and allows you to do the followings. For example, view the latest pipeline on Gitlab, create a new pipeline for your current branch, and right here you can see merge request 16. So this is the branch I'm talking about. This is the MR, right? So this is the MR, and this is where my pipeline has triggered. And if you see here, right, you see merge request information, you can see what changes have been made in this MR. You can also see the pipeline status. So within the editor, you can get the pipeline status, you can trigger pipeline, and you can do much more. One of the features I use very often in Gitlab is actually validating the YAML file. So I'm talking about CI linting. So when we write the YAML file and we push the code to remote repository, we only get to know when the pipeline fails, right? If we do not validate before committing the code to the remote repository. So this extension comes with validating the ci.yaml file is one of the most often used feature in this extension. Let us understand how the validation works when the YAML file is not valid itself. So we are going to simulate the situation where our YAML file is not valid. Okay, we intentionally going to add some invalid lines in there. So let's put it under tags maybe, and gonna try to validate. And now if you see the error, it says that hey, there is no value for that array, right? The tags is going to be an array of a string, but you don't have anything right there. So now let me show you how to create a snippet from selection or enter file. We can also select the visibility label of our snippet. So search for GitLab create and then select create snippet, and we can create private or public. So now the first one we are going to create from the enter file. So enter file in our case .yaml file. So right here you can see the snippet is created, right? And we can also edit, we can also, let's say, modify this particular file as well. And you see from the UI that we have created this snippet as simple as it is. Then now we are going to show how you can create a snippet from a portion of a file, from the same file. Okay, let's create a snippet from this particular portion of this file, and we have created another snippet out of this file. Excellent. So this is pretty simple. If you want to share it publicly, definitely you can select public, and if you want to be within your projects where only the internal projects member can see, then you go for the private one. Of course, you can see the raw content, you can download the snippet, or you can even copy the snippet content. So now let me show you how to create a merge request. There are many ways to do it, but I'm going to show you one of the ways. So I'm going to press Command Shift and P because I'm on Mac, and going to type GitLab create merge. So it's going to select create merge request, right? So if we open up, then it straight take me to the browser, and right here you see that the local branch is not available. It's because I did not push my local changes to my remote repository, right? So first of all, this way I have to push my changes. So I'm going to add my changes, then write a dummy commit message. I'm going to call it demo YouTube branch, and right after I'm going to push my changes to GitLab workflow origin, so basically to the remote one. So my changes should be now in the upstream repository, right? So now if we open up the link, it's not going to complain anymore or throw an error, right? So everything looks good. I'm going to hit create merge request. So merge request is created. So this way is not very convenient, right? Because I needed to use the editor and then I needed to come back to the browser. But the whole thing actually you could have done within the editor. But there are so many things that you could do within the editor yourself, and all the options I think is beyond the scope of this video. Maybe I need to make a separate video for it. I can't really go through all of it in a single video. So let us explore a bit more. Show GitLab CI/CD config option, and side by side we can compare our file with the right side one. So if you look at the left hand side, you can see default because YAML starts with 3 a hyphen or dash, whatever you call it, right? So this is what the right hand side is GitLab defined pipeline. So you can see pre and post. Any GitLab experienced user knows what this means. Pre actually has to run before test stage or test job runs, and then post has to run after user defined job executed. And this is something you do not need to care about because this is what is done behind the hood by the GitLab. Let's say we want to open GitLab ci.yaml file. This is the active file. So if we choose open active file on GitLab, it means that it's going to open this particular file on your browser, right?